Hello, everyone, and welcome to a lunch episode of Sup Talk Radio. I am so excited today. My first guest, we think, is the boss, but we'll find out today. Most of you know him as Robbie, Robic. Don't call him Bobby Samborski. And of course, we had to beautify this podcast with both brains and beauty. She goes by one name, like Madonna and Adele and Cher. Allow us to introduce Karalina. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Sean.
Thank you, Sean.
So we got a lot of questions here, and we'll try to tackle everything as we can. So I guess Carolina, we'll start with you. What brought you to the States? I don't know if it ever came out. Like, what brought you here to the U.S.?
It's actually a good question. My aunt lives here for more than 20 years, and she left. I was born in Belarus, so she left Belarus when I was probably 10 years old. And after she left, she came to visit us a few times. But then my cousin also, he moved here. And then he got family here. He has 3 kids as of right now. So I haven't seen him for a long time. And then I was in university, and we had that program called J1. So basically it's work and travel. And then I decided to go to the United States to see my cousin, who I haven't seen for a long time. And I haven't seen his kids. And just ended up staying.
And did you say how long have you been here in the States?
It's going to be 11 years.
Wow. So do you ever get to go home?
No. My parents come here to see me and my sister as well.
Awesome. And how did you guys meet?
That's another funny story, actually. When I came to, I lived at my aunt's, and she's actually in New Jersey. And Apollon is basically, I think, 10, 15 minutes from her house, but she moved. So it's a town next to Edison. But before that, I used to live in the city, and then I moved to Brooklyn. And in Brooklyn, I used to be, I was working as a waitress in one of the Russian restaurants at night because I had to pay my bills and lawyers and everything. So I was working 24/7. And it happened the restaurant was actually next to Rob's pharmacy. So he came to eat there once with his friends, and that was it. That was it.
It's actually, you know what? She
I should not say the whole story.
she tried to be nice. I went with 2 of my friends, and one of them was hitting on her friend, and her friend was a waitress. Her friend was very, very nice, super friendly girl, but very shy. But my friend was one of those guys who, tends to misbehave and kind of be even a little bit rude. So he had to be put in his place. So the girl was too nice, so she basically switched places with Karolina, and Karolina started, basically she was our waitress. And she put him in his place so fast that my jaw dropped. I was like, what the fuck did I just witness? You know what? And not only that, Sean, you and I, we've known each other for a while, so you know exactly how I am. And then, it was my first time visiting the restaurant, and I didn't know the menu, but I knew things that I don't like. So I asked her, I was like, what would you recommend? And she recommended the exact dish that I didn't want. Like, I was like, oh, I don't want this. So in a very nice way, I politely declined. And
Okay. Oh, we lost you. Folks, technical difficulties. Obviously, Robic did not pay his dial-up, so hopefully he will be back momentarily here. But again, thank you so much for watching in the interim here. If you're a first-time follower, go ahead and put any questions, comments, anything in the chat box here on YouTube, and we will try to address it as best as we can. But as you see, there's a lot of great questions, and thank you so much for chiming in, Chris and Simon.
Yeah, here we go.
Did someone not pay their dial-up bill?
It's his computer, so has nothing to do with.
So we lost you at she recommended a dish that you do not like. Oh boy. Okay, folks, we'll get this working here one way or another. JC, thank you for joining. Simon, how are you, my friend? Alan, Heroic Vision. Pete, Chris, how is everybody? Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully this won't be just one-sided, just listening to me talk. But yes, Alan, do you want to run over and set him up with a rig here? That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
I know you like being mean to me, but are you being mean to me now?
No. If anything, we'll switch to the phone. It's something weird because I know the internet is working.
Okay, so Alan wants to know, do you need him to come over and borrow some equipment?
Yeah, I always need Alan in my life.
So we'll try this
a little bit earlier, not now.
So we'll try this again. So you mentioned that Karalina recommended a dish that you didn't like, and then we kind of cut off there.
Yeah, and that's nobody talks to me that way usually, so I had no choice but to say, okay, I'll take it.
And what was it?
It was some beef dish, but not typically something that I would choose. It was delicious though.
You know what? I was working at the restaurant. It was actually a Moldovan restaurant, and I wasn't actually familiar with the cuisine myself. I learned. So one of my friends ended up opening that restaurant, and from the beginning, I used to work there. But like I was told that's something that they like, and especially I was pissed already that table mistreated my friend. I'm like, okay, fuck it. You're gonna have whatever I tell you to have, and that's about it. So that was the story.
So then how did Apollon, how did you become an employee of Apollon?
She basically, I invited her over since I knew that her aunt lives not too far. We got to talk, and I invited her, you can come to Apollon anytime. And she came to the gym, and it just happens to be that a few weeks later, I had an accident at the gym, and I tore my quad. And, it was a very, very small gym. Obviously, we were struggling with employees, and, we didn't have exactly a lot of money or anything like that to pay anyone. And I was working around the clock, so there was nobody to work at the gym. And she said, you know what, I'll cover for you, even though she didn't know anything about the gym. She took over for a few weeks while I was basically, recovering after the surgery. And the gym, well, not anymore. It's not a surprise anymore, but the gym got better. She just turned.
Of course.
It became more successful. It became better, and now I can't get rid of her.
And how many years has it been now?
It's about 10 years now.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. So, from that, Apollon Nutrition, obviously about 3 years later, and that's pretty much it. Now she's the boss.
Well, that was a question that somebody had. It says, Robik often says you're in charge. How do you manage it and still maintain your fitness goals?
I think it's a part, actually, it's all combined together. So it's not like I separate those two things. Apollon, gym, nutrition, that's my life. That's what I used to do. I'm a dancer. I'm a professional dancer. I've been in sport for my entire life since I was like 3 years old. So that's why I never separated. It is what it is. That's a lifestyle when it comes to training, nutrition, diet. I used to joke with Rap all the time. When I just started at the gym, I've never seen the bodybuilders in my life, like actually like real bodybuilders. And he's like, this guy's on a diet, that guy's on a diet. I'm like, and I constantly see them eating. I'm like, what diet is that? They eat all the time. Like I was on a diet when I used to dance ballet. You don't eat, period. That's diet. You do not eat. This is not a diet. 7 times a day. I mean, that's a luxury. What kind of diet is this? So that's why, it was never separated.
So speaking of diet, somebody asked a question: do either of you follow I would say a diet, but either a special eating regimen, anything?
I'm pretty much, I eat about the same all the time, except like on a weekend, I would definitely like have a little fun. But more or less, now that I'm older, I try to stick to a little bit more. I try to behave, so to speak. I'm a big eater. I love food, and I'm not talking about chicken breast and fish. I love food. I mean, I'm a true foodie, and I'm a typical Jewish fat kid who used to be like a fucking balloon. So for me, I'm carb sensitive. I'm like, you name it. I look at carbs, I get fat. So for me, I need to exercise. I need to have a certain discipline. I'm also by nature not a very disciplined person, but if I get into routine, then I'm good. But I need to be in that routine. If I don't get into routine, I'm a mess. So I need to either be controlled by somebody, not that I ever had a coach or a nutritional advisor or anything like that. I did everything myself, but I need to follow that. Once I get into routine, I'm good. But yeah, I would say my diet is mostly low carb throughout the week. I try to do fasted cardio on a on a daily basis, except the weekend, and I lift weights maybe 5 days a week. So it's very, very like nothing super aggressive, but I still exercise and I still lead the lifestyle to an extent without if I would put 100% back in a day, now it's probably about 70, but it's still rather disciplined.
What about you, Karalina?
He calls me, I think, the fattest skinny person he's known for years. I mean, I don't eat a lot. Like, I eat small portions, but I think it comes actually from my background, and that's like I don't eat certain things. Period. Like, I don't eat white bread at all. Like, so I just don't eat it. Like, I love sweets. Like, I think it's not like I love sweets. I love sweets. Like, I
Okay.
cannot live without sweets. It's not like I take them on a daily basis, but like if there is a cake or dessert, I can skip like a meal, but I need my dessert. When we go to the restaurant, I'm not interested in entree. I don't need entree, I need my dessert. So it has to be the appetizer, then we can skip and go to the dessert menu. But other than that, I mean, I wake up early. So if Rob says that he trains and does like fasted cardio, like my day started now like with stretching. So I stretch for an hour. Like I wake up like 6:30, and I have my training, not stretching session. Then I train at the gym like with one of our trainers, Ruben. So he trains me, and then lately I don't have time for kickboxing because we used to go, and it's actually like far from the gym. But like I would love to go back to like martial arts. It's very similar when it comes to dancing, I think, in terms of workout, whole body workout.
Do you feel you eat more sweets now because when you were dancing, obviously you probably didn't have any, and now you say I'm not dancing anymore, so now I'm going to eat more or eat more sweets?
I don't eat a lot, so I never ate a lot. So
Okay.
as of right now, I can eat. Like back in the days, I couldn't at all because whatever you hear about Russian ballet is true. It's even much, much worse than you guys hear about. So they used to weigh us, they used to measure us. It was a certain
Jeez.
list of products that I could take and nothing else. And my teacher, she would know when I come to actually to the practice that I ate something extra. And I'm talking about something extra. It's like a piece of bread or something. So it was hard, but I got used to it. So like I think also taste is a habit, and you just change it and go with it. So it like food doesn't bother me as much. I can look at it. I enjoy other people having good food, and I
Yep.
can look at the food. But in terms of like going crazy about it, not really.
Okay. Okay. Here's another one for Carolina. I wasn't lying, Robert. So, as Carolina, when did you first get into MMA? After watching the promo, I was like, wow.
Hmm. So when I actually started working at the gym, I trained when I was actually in Belarus at the gym, but it was different. So it was not actually like lifting weights. I used to go with my friend here and there, but mostly abs. Like it was not like a crazy workout or anything at the gym. And I started actually lifting at the gym. But I think genetically I'm gifted, so I started growing, and that's something that I didn't want to happen. Like my perfect body is like clean, nice body. So that's why when I started noticing it, and Rob would make fun of me, and I'm like, I look huge, and he looks at me and started laughing. I'm like, I do not like that laugh. So I needed something for my whole body workout, and he was doing kickboxing at the time already. And we had a guy who used to come to the gym and train with Rob, and I'm like, I would like to try it too. And that's how I started kickboxing. But then
Okay.
I went to Kansak, Rob's coach, and he is a, I think, two-time Lumpini champion, which is actually the highest award that you can get in like Muay Thai world. And my first training session with Kansak was he punched me straight in the face. Like I was training and he just punched me. It was an overhead right into my face. And I was shocked. Like for a second, I think I froze. It's not like because he punched me, I just never seen here actually in America, like in a training session that girl is being punched. Over there, it's not a problem. But he punched me and he continued, like nothing ever happened. And I turned out to Rob, I'm like, he punched me. He punched me in the face. My face was red. But then I continued, and that was the beginning of the journey, I think.
But did you harness that energy and say, "Oh, it's on now," and you beat the hell out of him?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I'm not living. Nope. That's exactly how it happened. Yep. I'm staying, I'm beating your ass.
Oh my God. So when did you guys, so you launched the brand in 15, correct? As kind of a gym brand. When did you guys say, "Oh shit, we have something and let's start, mass producing it and getting it out to the people?"
Probably instantly, I would say. We saw, that there was an interest in the interest that spiked, but we didn't know what the hell we were doing. I mean,
Okay.
like literally, I wish I could brag that there was a plan and and we are geniuses or anything like that. I mean, keep in mind it was myself, Marina, Kay, and Alina. It was like, two pharmacists and a girl that was a
Uh Rich, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing well, Sean. How are you?
So we're having some technical difficulties with Ravik and Kay, so they fell off. They're frozen. I'm sure they'll jump on in a minute, and then we'll kind of surprise him with you because he doesn't know you're jumping on here.
I know he actually texted me about a half hour ago saying that I should watch it, and I was like, "All right, yeah, I'll watch."
Because I said, "Listen, I'm gonna have someone special jump on for a couple of minutes just to say hello." But yeah, I don't know if he forgot to pay his dial up or what. But he's we're kind of hitting and missing here today because he's at Karalina's place.
Gotcha. Okay. Well,
I think Rich kicked us off.
Surprise. So here's the surprise guest. I wanted to bring him on because without his help, we would not be a happy family as we are today. So
Yeah, true. I forgot that you were guys friends and you're texting each other and shit. And the funny thing is, I was talking to Rich, or through text messages just before the show.
I didn't want to give away the surprise.
But Rich is always, it's good to have. Actually, speaking of Rich, I mean, Rich came here to the gym, just was training with Guy Cisternino as his training partner. I mean, I still think Guy looked the best when he trained with Rich, but. We became basically friends through Guy, and in full transparency, I think we're better friends with Rich than Guy right now. But Rich actually, he's very good with marketing. He's very good with graphic design. He's knowledgeable. He's open-minded. It's the type of person that works with us. And even today, having a baby and a full-time job, he's a busy guy, but nevertheless, just him and Alina, even though they stepped away, not even stepped away, but they very busy with what they do, they still very, very much involved. Whatever we need, all it takes just a phone call or a text message and they're there. So just to illustrate what kind of a company it is, it's not even a matter of if, maybe, or what. Rich, we need you. Boom, he's there. We need you to come to the gym. He's there. We need a graphic design. He will do it in the middle of the night, despite the fact that he's busy. And that's, I think, kind of like a secret of success. But Rich came basically on board. We had the company maybe for about a year and a half, but we saw that there was something to it. All of us thought that there was something to it. We just didn't know what the fuck we were doing. I mean, we're still learning as we go. Like, for example, now I need a new computer. But but the thing is that it's one of those things that as you go, you grow, you make mistakes. I had this conversation last night with Marina, and I said, you can't have a successful business if you don't make a few mistakes along the way. It just has to happen. But I think that, yeah, we saw something that none of us are experts. Rich is not an expert. He comes from a different field. He's just a guy who likes to work out and likes the lifestyle. Karalina comes from a dancing background. Alina is a pharmacist. Marina is a pharmacist. I sort of, like I said, come from a background, but not really, because I work with athletes. I own the gym, but it's not exactly a supplement industry. So we didn't know what we were doing. We just knew that we want something good for ourselves. I mean, Rich was getting our products. I was getting our products. And to be honest with you, we actually paid for our products. We're such a small company. We still pay for our products. Like if I need something for my house, I go to the terminal, I charge my credit card, I give myself a 20-25% discount. And, very rare for any one of us to take anything for free. Not because we're a small company and, it's impossible. If we're going to take whatever we want at any point of time, especially our products, of course, as you know, they're not exactly cheap to manufacture, being so loaded. But I think, through through team effort and everything else, I think we got to a point where we got because of not so much, I'm not going to call Rich or myself or okay geniuses or anything like that. It's not about that. It's just passion, and we like what we are doing. And just recently, I brought this up, I think, in 2 conversations. So there is no secret that we are friends with Guy Cisternino, right? And at one point, Rich was very much involved, and we were involved, and there was a talk about him coming on board, and signing with Apollon. It didn't work out, but no, that's not the point. The point is, and again, I'm bringing this probably for a 3rd time in a week. I remember Alina, our friend, had a conversation with Guy, and I can never forget about that conversation. And I overheard it because it was from my house, and she was on the phone with him. And she said, I make no money from Apollon. She says, I make nothing. You will be getting paid because you're a sponsored athlete, and that's just the way it works. But I want to hear from you that you love this company as much as I do, that you want to actually come on board, that you believe in it, and that you're passionate about it. And I think when it comes to myself, Kay, Marina, Alina, and Rich, we didn't do it. I mean, money is nice. If you can get a successful business and you can make money, it's phenomenal. But there is so much more. And I think that our success and our growth comes from that, now that Rich is here, I can say it. It's like from somebody like Rich, a guy who has nothing to do with supplements, and goes like, yeah, okay, you know what? The only thing I've done was when Guy was with Centurion Labs, I would go and work at the expo. That's the only thing he's done. But he's a smart guy. But the main thing is just he saw something, he was passionate. It was more like I don't want to call it a hobby, because hobby is a bit of a funky word. It's a lot more than that. It's just passion that kind of stays with you no matter what. And I think if more brands employed that approach and didn't chase just the money, I think the supplement industry, I know I'm being maybe a little bit poetic right now, but it's true. It's 100% true. Just put a little bit more effort and love into what you do, and then it's going to kind of like fall into pieces.
Yep. And for those joining now, so for those that don't know Rich was part of marketing for Apollon. So I reached out to Apollon maybe 17 or 18. I don't know who was behind the social media, but Robik went ahead and flipped it over to Rich. And I don't know if it was just, hey, I don't know who this jackass is. See if he wants to do a podcast, get the name out there. Rich and I bonded. And then here we are years later, all one big happy family. And I can't say enough for Rich kind of putting this all together.
It happened pretty much just like that too. I think you reached out to Rob originally, and Rob back then, he wasn't part of, podcasts. He wasn't really the front man of the brand. He was the person, mixing up,
pushing other people forward,
trying to put the formulations together. So he was like, Rich, this person reached out, hop on it for me and see what you can do. Whatever you can do, just talk to him about the product. I think I was with Apollon for maybe just a couple of months at that point. I was just trying to learn the formulations myself. So I kind of just winged our conversation. But yeah, you and I, Sean, are both from the healthcare industry. So I think it's a natural progression that people who are interested in, fitness, supplements, bodybuilding, certainly a subculture of that, that, you can, we certainly had a lot in common. And I think that that's what allowed us to stay in communication all these years.
And I love it. So I had a question here, and we'll flip it to either Karalina or Robik. So how are you guys so good with releasing product after product, and it just keeps getting better?
That's a question for him, not me.
So, I think I brought this up a while ago, and to be honest with you, the only person who didn't really argue with me when it was kind of brought up was Rich, because Rich kind of, he's more familiar, I guess, with marketing. Even our own, we have like outside marketing people who are helping us out with the brand. And at the end of 2020, I believe, when Shane told me that Apollon is like a top 10 or top 5 or something like that, I never even thought about it that way, because to me, it's a small gym brand. Yes, it's growing. Yes, it's improving. Yes, blah, blah, blah. But I didn't take it seriously. And then I said, so hold on a second, we have a chance to,
They froze up again. It's all right. I can kind of pick up the baton a little bit for him. I think the real genesis of the answer to that is just pure passion that Rob has for improving. He's constantly researching. He's constantly investigating what ingredients are out there, what new studies are coming out that, you know, disprove a certain dose or qualify a higher dose, right? And I think that it's really rare that people stay that much on the pulse of what the industry is actually doing and evolving, right? Certainly science has evolved quite dramatically over the past few decades. Supplements, you know, if you were in supplements 10 years ago, I mean, you basically had creatine and nitric oxide, right? That's pretty much what everybody was taking. Now we have so many different ingredients, and, you know, you don't get the clinical trials that you get in a prescription medication, but, you know, we've had an extended period of time to get some results, and people do studies. And that's what Rob really works to stay on top of, really know and understand and try and tweak the doses. And that's how you see, you know, version 5, 6, 7 of the same product, but each time it gets better because one new ingredient comes out. This ingredient works better in combination with something else. And Rob's constantly staying on top of what the market is actually doing. It'd be much better from a profitability standpoint to just come out with what you have, get consumers that like it. And then historically, the business model has been get people to like a brand name, then you start pixie dusting it, and then you maximize your profits for a year or two before people realize the product doesn't work anymore and they have to move on to something else. I think that's why Apollon Nutrition was able to come through the pandemic and actually grow, where many brands actually have gone away. Over 30% of the gyms nationwide have closed, right? Small businesses all over have been impacted. So being able to really build that loyal customer base, you know, you have an obligation at that point too, right? You know, your customers come to expect that innovation from Apollon Nutrition. And, you know, it's, you know, one of those things in life where you always typically get what you pay for. And we've always been on the premium side of things. And with that comes a responsibility that if there are new ingredients that come out, you want them to be in your product. You want them to be in the forefront. You know, if you look at our label now compared to what it was before, it's not, you'd be like, this isn't the same product. And you'd pretty much be right, even though it has the same brand name, because there's just been improvements. You know, I think the company launched in 2015, you know, 7 years ago. A lot's happened, a lot has come out, and they try and deliver as much value as possible. And what's been great about Rob and the organization is, as the company has grown, we've been able to keep the price the same, even though there's more in it. The doses are going up because now we're ordering more and the volumes are going up. So that's why Rob continues to say, I haven't made a dime from this yet. And it's really true. Even though the brand has grown year over year over year, we just pass that savings along to the customer just to get that loyalty, because Rob has been extremely dedicated to being able to look people in the face. And when he says my products are the best, he can actually say it. You know, everybody says they have the best pre-workout on the market. You know, my question to Rob immediately from that is, best pre-workout for what, right? We have probably 5 or 6, I don't even know how many different pre-workouts we have at this point with all the different combinations. And there's a reason for that, you know, there is no one size fits all for a pre-workout. You know, I think many people in the market think of pre-workout and it's more of like an energy drink for them because they just want to feel stimulated and buzzed up, where there's so many sub ingredients that you can put in the product. To put all of them in the same product is pretty much impossible because the price would be through the roof and no one will buy it. So that's why you have to create these subcategories. And that's what Apollon's been doing over the past 2 years, and why you have seen so many different types of releases, because they're not just going after the bodybuilder. They're not just going after the casual weightlifter. They're going after every single different subsection that you can to try and be successful with all different types of markets. And I think that's resonating.
Robert, you owe this man a big commission check or something, because I mean, he knows his shit.
Everything he said is right. He's absolutely right. You know what I mean? The bottom line is like exactly what Rich said, and you know, we separated with phones because obviously something with the computer. Kay, can you hear us? I don't think her volume works.
Okay, no, we got her. We have her.
We have her, but I don't think we. Oh,
can you hear me?
Yep, we got her.
Yeah,
I got
you. Okay, yeah.
I can hear you.
So I mean, you know, so as I was saying, you know, basically we just wanted to release as many, rather than you can always invest into social media. You can always invest into advertising, but what better way than to invest into your own product? I mean, you know, you release products that people want. You release it's not that hard to release products that that are fully dosed, products that are good, products that deliver results. And I think that's what we did. We invested in that, and I think that was the best way to kind of like deliver not only the best products to people, but also something that that I believe is missing. And I'm not saying there are other brands are not good, or there is nothing else that is good on the market. There are a lot of good brands, but I think we do something slightly different, and I think we're delivering to that to that customer exactly what they want.
If for either Karalina or Robik, is it actually becoming an addiction now, where you have to release something? I feel like you feel like you have to release something every month or every couple of weeks.
I think honestly, like I think Rob is competing more with himself than anybody else. So when he sees something that he can improve the current product, or he sees that something that we're missing, that's what he actually goes with. If I'm mistaken, Rob, you can actually say that I'm mistaken.
No. It's true. I think it's like the competitive nature of it. I think that that's something that that's in me. I'm competing with myself because every time we release something, I was like, you know what, I could have done it better. So it's a competitive nature, and there are benefits to it because that way, it's almost guaranteed that we only gonna get better. But at the same time, I do realize that sometimes it's a little bit too much. And right now, actually in 2022, even though it seems like it's pretty much the same as 21, I even posted about it because we're still releasing product, we're still releasing flavors, but I'm trying to be a little bit more organized and a little bit like to space the products a little bit better.
Yep. So before you guys fall off again, hopefully we'll be good for a little while. I want to make the big announcement here that everybody's chiming in for. Okay, so for all the listeners, all the followers, you know that I have been doing an award show this year for the very first time of Sub Talk Radio. And so I've done things a little bit different than what other companies have done. And it was actually Robik that gave me this idea. Okay, so most of the award shows, there's a little bit of favoritism. There's a little bit of, I'm going to be honest, sometimes some suspect about it. So I did an award this year, a few awards. And the first one was Brand of the Year. And the Brand of the Year was picked by other brand owners. I reached out to different brand owners and had them give me their top 3 brands that they liked for the year. Then I recirculated that to the owners again and had them actually finalize their choices. And I am proud to say that Apollon was the brand of the year for 2021. So I want to say congratulations on that.
Thank you. I really appreciate it, Sean.
Thank you so much,
appreciate it obviously as a brand. This actually means a lot for a few reasons. You know what? Obviously, everybody wants to win. Thank you. By the way, this looks absolutely beautiful. So the thing is that this is the first time that presenting this award. So first time, it's something that is very, very special. And to be the first recipient of the award, obviously, it's a huge honor. Just like if it was with Review Brothers, it was the first time that they were doing it. They announced it, and all of a sudden, boom. But I do understand what you're saying, because every channel, every platform, they doing it. Maybe slightly biased. It maybe not. I went on and I pretty much accused those that I think, that I know are doing it the wrong way. And everybody knows that. But I also know, for example, that Shane does it. It's based on his opinion. So it's still, he's the one who's picking. But at the same time, you can't sway him by money or anything like that, because I know I didn't pay. That's for sure. So I appreciate that. But it's still, he the one who selects the criteria. This one, as far as I know, is the only one that is by vote. And I know because, I voted too. I mean, I know you sent emails, messages to multiple brand owners and fans and whatnot. So I know that this is by vote, and I know, what kind of person you are. I've known you for so many years, and that's the reason, I guess, why I bust your chops all the time. But it's very, very special and absolutely honored. Thank you, from the bottom of my heart, and thank you on behalf of the team. We definitely cherish this and really appreciate this. And, it only motivates us to work even harder. So, Rich, I'm going to be sending you multiple text messages.
And then also additionally, we were by people's choice. you were also the People's Champ of the Year, and that was voted on by consumers and users and everything else. So you went 2 for 2, and again, I'm proud, to say
Thank
we're
you.
friends, and obviously there's no bias. Again,
Yeah,
I was
no, I
not
mean,
involved.
I
I was the
remember
moderator.
you sent me a text message where you said, you know what, hopefully no matter what, it doesn't affect our friendship whatsoever. And I told you, like, listen, I know you. I know what kind of person you are. I've met you numerous times. We talked numerous times. We text each other numerous times. So I know where it comes from, and there was never any question. I mean, I understand that when it comes to a vote, it's very, very tricky. But nevertheless, of course, I'm happy that that our brand won. But the fact that it says People's Champ, believe it or not, it's actually more special to me than it says Brand of the Year, because that is something that it's the same thing as People's Choice Award. I remember, I believe when it comes to movies and music and whatnot. I mean, people do vote. I mean, that's very, very important because you know where it comes from. So to be appreciated and to be rewarded for the hard work that we put in, obviously it's very, very special. So thank you again. Really appreciate, on behalf of the entire team.
Good. If you guys have a few more minutes, I have few more questions I'd love to ask.
Go ahead.
For all three of you folks, have you ever been starstruck when hosting the seminar at the gym?
Every time. Every time. I mean, we're a little bit more used to it right now. And by the way, Rich, we have the date, and Sean, we have a date. It's going to be October 22nd. So, it's
Excellent.
back to work. But every time, I mean, you have people that have accomplished so much who are sitting there, people that you're not necessarily even starstruck, you admire, that what it takes, the hard work and dedication and what they're putting into it. And, they're sitting in your gym, in a small, hardcore gym that, that doesn't look like a fancy fitness center or a huge auditorium. And we don't even have seats. Nobody's sitting, everybody's standing, or they're sitting on top of, of machines. So that setup is so unique, or people are sitting on the floor. And yet everybody, despite the pandemic, we had the highest attendance we've ever had. It keeps growing from year to year, and people are asking who's coming to the new one, to the next one. So yeah, seeing Branch Warren, seeing Dennis Wolf, seeing Guy Cicerino, who's training at the gym sometimes, and he's a local guy, but nevertheless, it's somebody that you have to admire. Any athlete that is sitting up there is somebody that you either a fan of or you look up to. But nevertheless, even if you don't like the person, the hard work and dedication that they put into succeeding, whether it's a fight or a bodybuilding show or a powerlifting. So it never gets old, and I think that it's going to continue the same way.
Karalina, was there anybody that you were kind of either of their size or anything that kind of surprised you? Oh,
No, but the one that I do remember was actually Kevin Levroni. Can you hear me now?
Yep, we got you.
Yeah.
So Rob told me that he actually gonna invite Kevin Levroni, and I'm like, okay. And I think he came to the gym like a week or two prior to the seminar, and we had no idea. So on Friday night, I get a call from Rob that Kevin called him and said that he's coming to the gym tomorrow. I'm like, why is he coming tomorrow? The seminar is like in a month or something. And he just wants to check out the gym. I'm like, what does that mean? He wants to come and see the gym? The guy lives like 3.5 hours away. And I started thinking right away, I'm like, we have to give him clothes, we have to do something, we have to be there. So I ended up like making Apollon Gym special clothes for Kevin, like within 24 hours. And then we come and the guy just shows up and he talks to everybody like for 2 to 3 hours, and he gets in the car and he leaves. And we're looking at each other, I'm like, and everybody's like, it's Kevin. I'm like, okay, it's Kevin. And then I think for the seminar also, Rob told me that he was overseas, and nobody knew if he's actually gonna be able to come because he was in Russia. And he called Rob also, I think like 24 to 48 hours before the seminar, and he called Rob from Russia. So Rob goes to him, will you be able to come to the seminar? You sure you're gonna be able to make it? And he's like, yeah, my flight is like 2 hours and I'm gonna land there and I'm gonna come straight to the seminar. and he did make it. I think he was one of the first one who actually attended the seminar. So that was like, it was an interesting story. It's a very interesting personality for sure. I think not only
Rich,
when
I
it
know you
comes to bodybuilding, like in general.
I guess that's good. Rich, was there anybody you've been part of? I guess all of them so far. Rich, was there anybody that kind of blew your mind?
Yeah, so I had, kind of a surreal moment. I don't know if it's necessarily being starstruck, but I just kind of put myself in the mindset of maybe somebody else who is a fan of bodybuilding or maybe unaware of bodybuilding. After the last seminar, Dennis Wolf, Branch Warren, Guy Cisternino, Johnny Jackson, and the rest of the Apollon team, we went out to just a local diner in Jersey right up the road. And once we got done eating, we were all just standing outside, just organizing how all the athletes were going to get to their hotels or their flights. I just thought to myself, I was just a random person walking up to this restaurant right now. How the heck would I react with having, 4 of some of the biggest stars over the past decade in bodybuilding just casually standing out front of this random diner in central New Jersey? That to me was kind of a surreal moment of just really understanding what Rob's been able to do with these all-star seminars, right? It kind of started out with, oh, well, we have all these athletes, we have all these people a part of Apollon. Let's just kind of put it together, throw this fun event. And then it just really evolved from there where, Apollon got better athletes on the team and we just attracted other people from throughout the industry to the brand. And Rob is a great networker. Absolutely great at networking and just talking to people, asking for things, trying to get commitments. He's great at that. And what he's been able to do of getting people to come to the gym, get commitments, follow through has just been absolutely incredible. So I think it's a great thing for the community. It's free every single year. I mean, he could easily charge $50 a ticket. I'm sure the same exact people would attend, but it's truly something for Rob to give back to the community and, an investment he makes into just building up the brand name and the people we bring out. So, yeah, I mean, it's not just your local, bodybuilding pro. He's bringing legends to, this small hole in the wall gym in central New Jersey that, unless you're truly a part of the weightlifting culture and probably local to New Jersey, you don't even know about. So it's truly remarkable what, the All-Star Seminar has evolved into.
Yeah, I think, now that Rich mentioned it, I remember one moment, but it had nothing to do with the All-Star Seminar. It had to do with, I was in Thailand and I came back from Thailand and I remember Ultimate Nutrition, I'm sorry. Ultimate Nutrition was doing a video shoot at the gym and it was with Dexter Jackson. So they flew Dexter Jackson from Jacksonville. And he was there already for like a day or two because they were shooting for a couple of days. And I remember they flew him in and I was told that, that he's there. And I've met Dexter a couple of times before that, but we never like really talked or anything like that. More of a hi-bye kind of a situation. So I walk in and Dexter Jackson is training at the gym. We got to talk a little bit, just small talk, nothing special, But, he was in phenomenal shape. I believe maybe it was like after Mr. Olympia or something like that. But he was in phenomenal shape. We got to talk. Dexter has a bit of a sometimes reputation of being arrogant. But to be honest with you, I didn't detect it. I thought he was, he was great. And that's it. And then we talked. He left. And Irina, who worked at the gym at the time, she tells me that Dexter got a lot of Apollon clothes. She goes like shitload. Everything we had,
Wow.
Dexter bought. I was like, excuse me? She goes, yeah, he bought it. I was like, he bought it or you gave it to him? She goes, no, he paid for it. I'm like, well, this is a little bit uncomfortable. We have 2008 Mr. Olympia buying clothes from Apollon Gym. I mean, we would have given it to him. I said, why didn't you give it to him? And Rich knows Irina pretty well. Let's just say she's unique personality. And she goes, yeah, I charged him. I'm like, you charged Dexter Jackson for clothes? And she goes, yeah. And he purchased it. Apparently he purchased a lot. So I got very, very uncomfortable. Now I'm calling Dexter. I'm like, Dexter, I said, did you buy clothes from Apollon? He goes, yes. And I'm like, why? He goes to me, because I like them. I'm like, I understand. I said, but we would giving it to you for free. Oh, no, 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 it's fine. I tried to convince him that, we'll refund him. No, he refused to take money. And he goes to me, it's absolutely fine, 100%. Don't worry about it. And that was pretty much it. He left, he went back to Jacksonville. All of a sudden, I'm looking at Instagram, social media, and he's putting up stories and posts wearing Apollon gym clothes. I mean, he's
Jeez.
literally advertising Apollon left and right, almost like on a daily basis. I called him again. I was like, "Do we owe you money?" Because I mean, he has shitload of followers. Like I'm really uncomfortable at this point. No, absolutely no need. He says, "I love the gym. I love that," but it was very very impressive because I'm not saying everybody is a freeloader in the industry or anything like that. Maybe majority, but not everybody. And it was very refreshing to see something like that. And instead of saying maybe starstruck, it was more like a person struck. It was a bigger personality than I expected, and I really, really liked it. On the flip side, we had Dorian Yates at the gym in 2009, and he was training. And now, keep in mind, Dorian, I think at the time he was about 48, maybe 49, but Dorian still trained like Dorian. I mean, like hardcore, badass training, sweating. I mean, it's really impressive. Very, very motivating. And he was training, and he was doing leg presses. I mean, I didn't pay attention to his training at the time because he was there on a daily basis. He lived around the corner, so he was with us for a couple of months. And then he walks into the office all sweaty, all disgusting, and just finished his workout. And we were talking, and one of the gym members, who was, I believe, maybe a power lifter or something, he walks in and he goes, "Hey, Dorian, do you mind taking all the weight off the machine?" Because he had like shitload of plates on the leg press machine. And I mean shitload. I looked, and there's like, I don't know, 20 plates or something like that. And Dorian goes, "Are you serious?" And the guy goes, "Yeah." He says, "Man, go take it off." And Dorian goes like, "It should be a privilege for you to strip the machine that Mr. Olympia was just training on." The guy goes to him, completely calm, completely relaxed. He goes, "You don't go strip the machine. I'm going to beat your ass right now." Dorian looks at me. He froze. He looks to me. He goes, "Is that a joke or he means it?" I'm like, "No, he means it. He definitely means it." And you see Dorian getting up from the chair and going and stripping the machine. It was probably one of the funniest things I've seen at the gym, throughout the years that I owned it.
Oh my God. That's hilarious. I love that. So we've got our good old Polish friend wishing you congratulations over from our brother Poland.
Thank you, Lucas.
And then we've got Alan also wishing you congratulations, brand of the year. At this rate, it's going to be brand of the decade. And we'll read a few more here, and we'll let you guys go because I know Rich is on the clock. And this one is not from me, okay? And this one says, "Why are you always so mean to Sean?"
Fuck Sean. Because I don't like him. He's Rich's buddy, and I'm kind of jealous of the friendship and the bond that they delivered. They developed. So it's kind of, I think I should come before Rich personally. But you know what? Sean made his choice, so now he has to pay for it. Now, I'm not mean to Sean. Actually, Sean and I talked about it. Actually, Rich and I talked about it. If I'm comfortable enough, if I like you enough, then I'm gonna be more relaxed around you. And then the other side of me, the goofy side, comes out. The joker, and so Sean and I bust each other's chops. But for those that maybe don't get it, it comes all in good fun. We like each other, we love each other, we have I would say great respect from each other, and I would call him one of the closest friends probably within the industry. So I just hope it clears it up. But I promise I'm gonna step up with the insults.
So for those listening, Robik's in New Jersey, I'm New York, and that's why we bond, because we know how to give it, but we know how to take it. So let's end on this. I know we've got a few announcements. You've hired not hired, but you've added some new athletes this week. Do you want to go ahead and give them a quick shout out, or let's discuss that a little bit?
Yeah, so Elias and Liana are two athletes that we just added to the team. They both, I believe, from they actually from the South, I believe. I think Elias is from Georgia, if I'm not mistaken. He's in the military. He's a bodybuilder, and he actually is He's sponsored by one of our good friends, Patrick, who owns Aris Nutrition, and they do use Apollon products, and they always tag us. Patrick tells me how much they like it. They always speak very, very highly of the product. Elias is definitely going to be a threat to get a pro card in the very near future whenever he decides to step on stage. Liana is an IFBB pro. Both just and considering that they're husband and wife, we thought that it's a very, very cool thing. They live bodybuilding, they love the lifestyle, and we just wanted to meet them. They drove to Apollon on Saturday. They met with me and Kay, and we just ended up talking for about an hour and a half. Very, very down to earth, great people. And it's what I said before. It just fits. If it fits, it fits. Throughout the years, we had athletes that just didn't fit. And I'm not being disrespectful right now or being mean or anything like that. It's the same as a relationship, marriage. It either fits or it doesn't fit. Rich and I, when Rich was even more involved with Apollon, I remember we would talk about a certain athlete, and when Rich would have to interact with him, and Rich is a lot stricter than I am. It's funny because everybody thinks that I'm this badass guy, but probably out of between Kay, Rich, and Alina, I'm a pussycat. Those three are fucking vicious. I'm nothing like them. I would say that they the mean ones, not me. And Rich would be very, very aggressive because if things are not done, he always expects nothing but the best, and if he asks you to do something, he expects it to be done. Just like I know. I'll text right now Rich, and it's not going to be Rich, please do this or do that. It's just I know that he's busy, but I will address him in a way like, Rich, do you have time? Most of the time he will say yes. Like, could you please do this? And it's done. It's done, and it's done professionally. It's done in a very, very timely manner, and he's not going to waste my time. He's not going to tell me it's going to be done in 3 days and it's going to be done in 3 weeks. None of that. So we did have athletes that, that Rich would call me and it's like, I'm fed up with this shit. I can't accept it. He's very, very demanding. So I think that I kind of adapted that, probably not to the extent that Rich is, but I am demanding too. I do understand, either we are a team or we are not. Either it fits or it doesn't fit. And those two, they seem like they fit, great communication. We're already texting each other. We're already communicating, so it's great. So I think that we are welcoming anyone actually on a team. You don't have to be an IFBB pro. You don't have to have, 500,000 or 1 million followers. It's completely irrelevant. I just brought up as an example, Jojo, who is typically, listening to the Final Scoop. The guy's been on stage once. He's a father of 2. He's a husband. He competed, yep. I think he competed like once. He's not an IFBB pro. He's not a pro, period. But the guy is so passionate. The guy is he just fits. And I think that that's what we are looking for. I would even go and, this is the arrogant part that's going to come out now. We're not looking for anyone. We're not. I think we earned the status that we have today. And, Karalina and Rich will attest to it. We earned the spot where we are. We busted our asses for free. None of us, including myself, the owner, Karalina, who is a partner, Rich, none of us, and they will back me up on this, none of us got paid. None of us, not a dime. People around us, making salaries and whatnot. The manufacturers are making money. We are so passionate and we love this brand so much. And we expect, not that we expect you to work for free, don't get me wrong. It's not about that. We just expect you to care. We expect you to believe, and we expect you to be part of this, dysfunctional family. And if you don't fit, that's okay. No hard feelings, but it is what it is. I mean, Rich, did I say it right?
Yeah, I mean, I think what it comes down to when it comes to athletes, you have to realize that there was a big shift in the industry, right? Many people think of back what it was when you had Ronnie and Jay, and they had these big magazine contracts, and there was only a couple of supplement brands, and they were making hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they were just being bodybuilders, and that's all they had to do. There's so much competition in the supplement industry these days that if you're investing into an athlete versus investing in digital marketing, you have to get a return on it, right? And what happens most time is that people just think like, okay, you have the rights to my image now. That's all you have. Well, okay, great, but you still have to be posting, you still have to be promoting. Like that's part of representing a brand and being part of a team and being an athlete. And I think it's so often that you just get the simple, okay, let me just post a video of me drinking my protein shake. Let me just post a picture of the container of pre-workout, right? Like how many people are actually interacting with their audience and like actually explaining what's in the product, why they take it, when they take it. You know, people just don't put that extra effort to do that step to create valuable content to their audience. And that's one of the main reasons why they probably don't have much of a following to begin with. But that's why we don't look at actual numbers, because there's so many bots, right? Anybody can pay for followers as well. So that's what I did a lot for Rob to kind of sift through. Like he would message me, oh, this person reached out. They have like 300,000 followers. I'd be like, yeah, Rob, their videos are getting 100 likes. Like that, the math doesn't add up, right? Like most of those are fake, right? So we would have those kinds of conversations to really kind of sift through, okay, who is somebody who truly can represent the brand, do well, and then you have expectations. And if you don't meet those expectations, you know, at some point it's time to move on, right? Like if you're not doing your job, then you don't get the compensation for it, right? It's just the way that the world works. And I think that a lot of times people think that, you know, because other brands do things a certain way, that's the way it is for everyone. But, you know, that just reverts back to us being premium, right? Like everybody always wants free product. Everybody wants samples, handouts, things like that. You know, a container of Hooligan is not the same as a container of C4, right? Like the value that you can give out of just dumping things around and just giving everybody this to just walk around with it is different. So, you know, as our quality is different from a brand perspective, that's what we need from our athletes as well, to actually go deep with the brand and really represent it the right way and try to engage an audience. And that's why I'd much rather have somebody who has 2,500 real followers, that if they say, hey, I'm using this and this is why, that we can then convert maybe 5 to 10% of those followers, that they'll at least give us an at bat and let us, you know, see if we can give them a high quality product. That's what you want, versus somebody who's out there paying for followers or constantly just posting the, you know, shirtless photo or their ass out just to try and get people to look at that. And they have no care in the world about what they say or what they do, right? There's just such a distinction between, you know, followers and actual engagement. And I think that's what, you know, more companies need to be focused on moving forward, is not just doing the lazy thing of just looking at, you know, likes and followers and things of that nature, but actually looking at the videos, looking at the photos. That's what I would do every time that, you know, Rob would say, hey, we have a shot at getting this athlete. What do you think? And you talk about it, right? What market are they in? How do they impact the business, right? So it's not just, you know, a knee-jerk reaction and you're just like collecting names like they're trading cards, right, of athletes. You really need people that make sense and that are going to help grow the brand.
Yeah, I agree. And if you look at, like, you know, who represents the brand, you know, like lately I've been trying to pay attention more like to the marketing aspect in terms of like who people react to, right? I mean, yeah, you have Branch Warren, obviously, you know, who is a big name in the industry, but as at the same time, Alexander is right. But at the same time, if you look who gets the most probably hits and who gets the most attention, you know, and reaction, it's Karalina. You know, it's Karalina who gets the most out of everyone. And there is a reason, I think, for it. I think the fact that she's never been on stage, the fact that she is not trying to get on stage, I think that the fact that it's a beautiful woman who is obviously, you know, one of the key personalities behind the brand, but she's real. You know, you can walk into Apollon, like you asked her, you know, about her training. She was probably a little reserved and shy, but you could walk into Apollon on any given day, and Karalina is killing herself training. I mean, killing herself. She's in the middle of the gym. Karalina is, you know, is training just like everybody else, you know, probably harder than most, and she's giving it 100%. So it's not just about, you know, tits and ass. It's about more that people can relate to, people that they, you know, that they can use as you know, as an example, as motivation. Here you see this beautiful woman who is running the brand, but at the same time she actually lives the lifestyle. You know, not necessarily lifting heavy weights and injecting herself with trenbolone, but I mean a woman that actually trains, she's not going to lie to you that she's going to say, I'm eating chicken breast 5 times a day. As you see, she actually told you the truth. She actually, missed one little detail, so I'm going to give it away. It's not just the sweets that she likes. Karalina likes her wine too. So, here you go.
But the wine cannot be sweet though. It gotta be dry.
Yeah.
But it says a lot for the brand, because I'll tell you that take out your ambassadors and your athletes. I can't tell you how many times this podcast or this post was shared by just people that follow the brand. Like my Instagram was blowing up, just random people that like and respect the brand trying to bring awareness to our podcast today. So that says a lot.
Well, it's probably just Karalina, because they knew that she's going to be on a podcast. It has nothing to do with me, and you were hiding the fact that Rich is coming.
Well, it's like I said at the beginning, we've got us, and then we got the beauty and the brains here. We had to amp that up a little bit. But anyway, guys, as we wind down, is there anything anybody else would like to share as we wind down? I really do appreciate everybody jumping on here today.
Well, I want to actually, you know what, I'll say something, and then I want Rich and Karalina probably to wrap it up in their own words. All I can say is, like, again, thank you for this award. It really, Sean, it means a lot to me personally. It means a lot. You already know me, and you know what this meant to me when we talked about it. And keeping it as a secret, fuck you for this, because that was hard.
I know.
So that was, but I told you I'll keep my word. I'm not going to tell anyone. So thank you for the award. But mainly, like Rich said, I was more behind the scenes, and I think the only reason why I got in front of the camera for the past maybe 2 or 3 years was, besides the Final Scoop and Robert Schnetsky doing, the Supplement Engineer podcast and the interview with him. And I think I got into a few, so to speak, fights. I don't know, what do you call it, like arguments with certain people within the industry. It wasn't by choice. And I told actually Lucas yesterday when we talked about it, I don't want to fight. I hate fighting. I hate arguing. It's just, but unfortunately I have, and I mean it, unfortunately, I have this little kind of DNA chip in my brain. When something is wrong, unfortunately, I cannot keep quiet. I can't. I'm unable to shut up and kind of let it go. If something is wrong, it's wrong, and I'm going to be against it, whether you like it or not. I'm going to express my opinion. On the other hand, if you're nice to me and if you're respectful, I'll give you everything. Like people like Lucas, like Shane, Robert, yourself, Rich. Those are the type of people that I value so much in my life, for the guidance, for the help, for the respect, and for believing, I don't know, in me, in the brand or whatever. You have to cherish those relationships. There's no chance in hell that I can mess it up, because it's impossible dealing with such personalities. But I want to thank just, everybody who supported the brand. And since, both Rich and Karalina are here, I want to thank them, on air personally, for everybody to see. Rich, really means a lot, you backing up the brand and being a friend for so many years. And even despite the fact that, like I said, life is busy, maybe we don't see each other as much as we do, you're unable to train at Apollon on a daily basis like you used to, nevertheless, you are and always will be part of this brand no matter what. And, so that's the reason why, mark your calendar, October 22nd, because you have no choice in this. You got to be there. And Karalina, who is... she is a partner. She's not an employee of Apollon Nutrition. And I said it yesterday, we had a conversation with Marina, and I said, like, people giving me so much credit, and I appreciate Rich for all the nice words he said about me as well. But the truth is, without this woman, without Karalina, and Rich will attest to it, he actually texted me, I believe, a couple of weeks ago or something like that. And, we it's not like we're kissing each other's ass or giving each other's compliments. It's not the case. But, coming from Rich, who is so straightforward and so brutally honest, when he said, it's you and Kay busted your asses, it was probably one of the biggest, I can't call it a compliment, because I'll actually say, I agree with it. We did bust our ass, and we still do. So, it's not me being cocky or arrogant. It's the truth. But just for anyone who thinks that it's me, yeah, the formulas are me, and Lucas is helping with his input, and Robert, and I always listen to people. I do, and I appreciate the input. But without Carolina multitasking, busting her ass 7 days a week on the phone, day and night, with people all over the world, and doing what she's doing, and becoming a person that she has become, none of this, and I mean it, none of this would happen. So, Kay, thank you so much. You know, I love you dearly, and I really appreciate it. Without you, this would not happen.
Richard Kay, any parting words?
Let Kay go first. After that,
For me,
heartfelt.
just thanks to Rich, because he actually Rich texted Rob, so Rob realized nothing of that would happen without Kay. So thank you, Rich. All jokes aside, I do appreciate everything, and I think the key. So the key actually of our success, and like any success, it's just to love what you do and believe in it no matter what. So I think like Rob and I and Rich and Alina, we all have different personalities, and we all can obviously like argue, we can disagree, but I think mutual respect that we have and such love for one thing that we have, which is actually Apollon and Apollon Nutrition. It's Apollon Gym. It's just Apollon, and it's just a huge goal that we have, but was actually never when we didn't think of that in the beginning. It just happened that way, and now we can see. We sometimes like I even stop Rob because I don't think we realize like what we got at the moment, because we constantly doing something. It was actually a point when we, I think, released Assassin, the newest version of Assassin, and like I had guys at the warehouse helping like each other to pack the packages, and we didn't have enough of time to pack all the orders that we've had, and I actually put them all together. It was boxes and it was so many of them, and I did call Rob. I'm like, Rob, come here, you gotta look at it. I didn't let them out that day because I wanted them to see. It was just non-stop, and it was just a moment, I think, for him also to realize where we got, because in the beginning it was like 1 to 2 orders, and Rich and Rob, they both know obviously it was 1 to 2 orders per day, and then it got to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. It was just not stopping, and at the point like I get emails on my phone when people order, and my phone was moving because it was on vibrate. It was just constantly moving. I thought my phone broke at some point, and I told Rob like something's not right. I think it was like a glitch or something on the website, but it was happening. And I think just to realize sometimes, because we do constantly work, but I obviously like I appreciate all the people's help and people who believe in us. And I think as a group of people that we have, that's important to have that team, because it's not me, it's not only Rob, it's not only Rich. I think it's all combined effort of Dan, of Joe who works with that. I always tell it like Branch, Trish, like everybody who do love the brand, that's what makes Apollon.
Yep, well said. Rich,
Yeah.
no pressure for you.
No, I think that, you know, when it comes to wrapping it up, it's really a lot of gratitude and validation, right? You know, the way that these awards were created, I think that the peers in the industry, as well as the customers acknowledging what, you know, Rob and Kay really have been able to do is quite remarkable. You know, it's very challenging to have a small business. It's been even more challenging to have a small business during the pandemic. And their commitment to doubling down on just, you know, working harder and working smarter, trying to find better ways to do things, trying to, you know, minimize what they can as far as, you know, expenses, and trying to, you know, maximize the value and quality for the customer has obviously rung true with the market for people to continue to invest in the brand, as well as acknowledge once they're actually using the products, hey, you know, I can see the difference. And, you know, I'm sure we have plenty of repeat business, and the brand's truly grown a cult following because of the effort of Rob and Karalina, always for, you know, the highest level of products, but also the highest level of customer service. I'm still on the Facebook group. We get the messages when people say, hey, my product came like this or came like that. And you just want to like roll your eyes and say, hey, you know, kick rocks. You know, Rob, Kay, they're always, you know, okay, it didn't come right, we'll fix it, right? So I think that, you know, for anybody who's thinking, you know, not only of just looking at this as, you know, a supplement podcast, but anybody who has any interest in doing anything in business, I think that, you know, you have to really, you know, listen to the way Rob just spoke about Karalina. You need employees like that to be successful in this world today. You need people that have the passion and dedication to really be able to withstand the pressures that we have in the market today. And I'm just grateful that people are seeing that, and, you know, acknowledging that Apollon has great products, that even though, you know, it came out of a small gym, just the passion of the team to really, when we say, products created by athletes for athletes, that's one of the things that I put in our kind of summary page on the website when I first started. And that's been kind of the North Star of everything that we do, where, Rob and Karalina has her dance, Rob has, fighting. I came from football, bodybuilding, obviously connecting everybody in the same way. So bring all these different types of experience. That's why we've been able to bring different types of products to the market. And, you never know what the new year is going to have in store, but I always know that Apollon's just going to find different ways to create better products and bring more to the market. So looking forward to what Rob and the team is able to accomplish in 2022.
Sean, thank you so much again for this. Again, thank you, Review Brothers, Aaron and Craig. Really appreciate the award, honored, Stacked, Shane. And you know what, especially, I don't want to leave without saying a huge thank you to Fitness Deal News, to TJ, because I'm very, I don't want to use the word vindictive, but I am, I guess, a little bit. I hold grudge. And I remember those platforms and people who would make fun of us and, say that the brand was not going to go. Even had one brand owner told me that, we're not going anywhere, which is fine. But Fitness Deal News, I remember talking to TJ, sending him a product that, people, the Hooligan and Assassin, I remember initially took so much heat and so much criticism. And TJ just reviewed it. He liked it, him and Robert, who actually, started posting about the fact that, caffeine or whatnot is not exactly going to kill you or anything. I think those are the people who also played a huge role. So I just want to say, thank you to TJ, thank you to Eddie, obviously, Muscle Players, everybody who supported us. If I forgot to mention somebody, guys, I'm sorry. Lucas played a tremendous role. I mean, that guy, he literally messaged me. I didn't even know who the fuck he was. He just sent me a message that he would like to purchase some products. And from there, aggressively, he started attacking basically everybody. You got to carry Apollon. You got to carry Apollon. He started reaching out to everybody, just everyone, obviously Jose, our sales director, everybody who is behind the brand, Sean, you for supporting, for being a friend, guys, everybody who has helped us grow and everybody who believed. Thank you so much. Oh, look, my daughter joined. Thanks, Jess. Sean, she probably likes you. She usually doesn't join anything, but honestly, everybody, guys, I wish I would, remember
I think
everybody.
she likes Rich more than anyone.
Yeah, that's true. She likes Rich. She likes Rich a lot.
Now she's never going to tune into a podcast again. She's never going to listen to a podcast again now.
Yeah, just thank you, everybody, guys. We're going to work a lot harder. We're going to do basically the same thing that we've done up until this point. If it's not broke, what's the point of doing anything differently? So, even a question, that we're doing some health products. There was a question of whether Apollon's going to deviate from a plan and we're going to abandon the whole hardcore side of the business. We're not, because the thing is, you don't forget your roots. You don't forget Apollon. You don't forget where you come from. We're going to stick to exactly. You don't forget where you come from.
A tough compliment. I don't know if you met Jess, but it is very challenging to get that from Jess. I'll pat myself on the back for that.
Yeah, that took me. I mean, I'm blushing. That took me by a huge surprise. Wow. As a dad, I'm actually a little bit jealous now. Yeah, but she does like Rich a lot. Kay and Rich are probably among her favorite people. But Sean, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Brand of the year, third one. And I'm actually super excited about the fact that Rich joined us.
Third of many. But guys, just know that you guys aren't friends, you're family. And again, Rich, it started with you. And I'm so glad that we met last year. I mean, you're a boss. And obviously, Kay and Robik, I love you guys to death. And I look forward to continued success in future podcasts.
Thank you so much, Sean. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And you guys want to stay on for just a second. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Have a great rest of the week.